Ever notice how the same situation can either ruin your day or barely register, depending on your mood? What if I told you that your emotional state doesn't just color how you see things, it literally determines what role you play in the world around you? Today's lesson teaches that your happiness isn't just a nice to have. It's actually essential to a larger plan of healing in the world. When you're genuinely joyful, you become a messenger of possibility to everyone around you, showing them what's available when we stop fighting against our own well-being. Think of happiness like a radio frequency that automatically tunes other people's stations. When you're broadcasting joy, people around you start picking up that signal without even realizing it. But when your frequency is static with worry or sadness, everyone in range gets interference on their own channels. They feel heavier, more disconnected, less hopeful about their day. We've all been in that coffee shop on a Monday morning. You know the scene. The barista is having the worst shift of her life. Customers complaining about foam levels, the espresso machine deciding to stage a rebellion, the milk steamer screaming like it's possessed. Everything that could go wrong is going wrong. And you can see it in her eyes, that particular brand of desperation that comes from being overwhelmed before 9 a.m. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most of us walk into that situation and immediately tune to her frequency. We feel the stress radiating off her, and before we know it, we're irritated too. Maybe we drum our fingers on the counter a little harder. Maybe we sigh just loud enough to be heard. We think we're responding to bad service, but really, we've just let someone else's emotional weather become our forecast. But something different happened to me last week. I walked into my usual coffee place, and there she was, Sarah, the morning barista, clearly drowning. The line was backed up to the door. Someone had just complained loudly about the ruined latte, and the new guy had called in sick. I could feel that familiar tightness starting in my chest, that impatience creeping up my spine. Except this time, I caught it. I noticed the contagion happening in real time, and instead of letting her frequency override mine, I made a different choice. Not a big dramatic choice, just a small shift, like adjusting a dial. I let my shoulders drop. I found a genuine smile, not the tight-lipped customer service kind. When I got to the counter, I made actual eye contact and said, "Rough morning. Huh. You're doing great." The shift was instantaneous. Her whole face changed, not because I said magic words, but because for the first time all morning, someone wasn't adding static to her already overloaded frequency. By the time she handed me my coffee, she was actually laughing about the possessed milk steamer. The next customer got a completely different barista, not because anything external had changed, but because her internal radio station had found a clearer signal. Here's what we don't realize. We've all been given an assignment we never signed up for. Every single one of us is constantly broadcasting our internal state to everyone around us. It's not woo-woo or mystical, it's basic human neurology, mirror neurons, emotional contagion, whatever you want to call it. We're wired to pick up and amplify each other's frequencies. When you're genuinely happy, not fake happy, not Instagram happy, but genuinely at peace, you become a walking permission slip for everyone around you. Your joy says, "Look, it's possible. Even here, even now, even in this mess, peace is available." You become living proof that the external chaos doesn't have to dictate the internal experience. But when we're broadcasting static, worry, frustration, that low-grade anxiety that's become our baseline, we're essentially jamming everyone else's signal. We become evidence that life is hard, that stress is inevitable, that the best we can hope for is to survive until Friday. The coffee shop story doesn't end with Sarah's shift. Later that week, she told me that after our interaction, her whole day turned around. Not because the coffee machine started working or customers got nicer, but because she remembered she had a choice about which station she was tuned to. She said, and I'll never forget this, "You reminded me that I don't have to let every bad moment become my whole mood." This is where we hit the part that might make you uncomfortable. The idea that your happiness actually matters to other people, that it's not selfish but generous, goes against everything we've been taught. We're supposed to be serious, supposed to carry the weight of the world, supposed to feel guilty about feeling good when others are suffering. But what if that's exactly backwards? What if your refusal to be happy is actually the selfish choice? Because every moment you spend broadcasting static, you're making it harder for everyone around you to find their own clear signal. You're adding to the collective weight instead of lightening it. I'm not talking about toxic positivity here. I'm not saying paste on a smile and pretend everything's fine. I'm talking about the radical act of letting yourself be okay even when circumstances aren't. Of finding that stable frequency within yourself that doesn't need external validation to maintain its signal. Think about the last time you were around someone who was genuinely, quietly joyful. Not manic, not performing, just settled. Remember how your breathing changed, how your shoulders dropped without you even noticing. That person gave you permission to put down whatever you were carrying, even if just for a moment. They showed you another option existed. So how do we become these mobile broadcasting stations of peace? It's simpler than you think and harder than it sounds. You start by noticing your current frequency. Right now, in this moment, what are you transmitting? Don't judge it. Just notice it. Anxiety, boredom, a touch of curiosity. Next, you recognize that this frequency isn't fixed. It's not who you are, it's just what you're tuned to right now. And like any radio, you can adjust the dial, not through false or fake positivity, but through a gentle recognition that you have more choice than you thought. The practice is this: throughout your day, check your broadcast. Walking into the grocery store, what frequency are you carrying in with you? Sitting in traffic, what signal are you sending to the driver next to you who glances over? Having dinner with your family, what emotional weather system are you creating at the table? Here's the thing about Sarah at the coffee shop. My good mood didn't fix her broken espresso machine. It didn't make the complaining customers disappear or the absent coworker magically show up. What it did was remind her that she wasn't a victim of her circumstances. She had forgotten she could choose her response, and all it took was encountering someone who was actively making that choice to remind her. When you allow yourself to be truly happy, you give everyone permission to do the same. Your joy becomes contagious evidence that peace is possible, not just for you, but for anyone willing to receive it. This isn't about being happy all the time. It's about remembering that your internal state isn't just about you. You're part of an invisible network, constantly influencing and being influenced by the frequencies around you. The relief comes when you realize this. You don't have to fix anyone. You don't have to cheer people up or solve their problems or convince them to be positive. All you have to do is maintain your own clear signal. Be the person whose presence makes others remember they have options. Be the evidence that it's possible to be okay even when things aren't okay. Your happiness isn't a luxury you earn after everything else is handled. It's not selfish indulgence or naive optimism. It's your contribution to the collective healing. It's your part in reminding the world that peace is always available, always within reach, always a choice. The next time you walk into that coffee shop, or the office, or your home, remember that you're carrying more than just yourself. You're carrying a frequency that has the power to shift the entire room. Not through words or actions, but through the simple, radical act of choosing which station you're tuned to. The world needs your clear signal. It needs your evidence that there's another way to move through difficulty. It needs your reminder that happiness isn't dependent on circumstances but on the gentle, moment-by-moment choice to tune to a different frequency. This is your assignment. Should you choose to accept it, be the person who walks into a room and makes everyone remember that joy is an option. If you'd like more teachings and guided practices like this, you can like the video and subscribe. And now, we'll move into a short guided meditation. Find a comfortable position and let your eyes gently close. There's nothing to fix or change right now. Just arrive here, exactly as you are. Notice your breath moving naturally. No need to control it. Just let it flow like waves on a shore, each one washing in and out on its own rhythm. Feel where your body meets the chair or cushion. Let yourself be held. You don't have to hold yourself up right now. Place one hand on your heart. Feel the warmth there. This is your broadcasting station, always on, always sending signals out into the world. Notice what frequency you're tuned to right now. Maybe there's some static, worry, tension, the residue of the day. That's okay. Just notice it. Now imagine you have a gentle dial inside, not forcing anything, just the possibility of adjustment. What would it feel like to tune toward ease? Toward quiet joy? You don't have to manufacture happiness. Just allow whatever peace is already here to expand a little, like adjusting the radio until the static clears. Breathe into this clearer frequency. Feel it settling in your chest, spreading through your shoulders, softening your face. With each breath, you're broadcasting this peace. Not doing anything, just being. Your calm is already touching everyone in your life, even from here. Notice how it feels to know that your peace matters, that your well-being serves something larger than yourself. Rest here for a moment. No effort needed. Your clear signal is enough. Your presence is enough. When you're ready, take a deeper breath. Feel your body here in this space. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Open your eyes slowly, bringing this frequency with you. The world is waiting for what you're broadcasting. Thank you for practicing with us today. If you'd like, there's a link to a free digital copy of ACIM in the description. And if this video resonated with you, please comment. I am grateful. Thank you for being here and for letting yourself explore what it means to tune your inner frequency. As you move through your day, remember that your happiness isn't just for you. It's a gift to everyone you meet. Be gentle with yourself as you practice. The world needs your clear signal.